Welcome to Topline Hotline.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Topline Hotline. You know Topline Hotline. It's that special segment where we answer burning questions on go-to-market from some of the world's leading executives and experts, drawn largely from the Pavilion community, but also from our listeners. Every week, we'll dive into detail on one or two salient questions that our listeners have and try to provide contextual and interesting answers to help you live your go-to-market day with more daring do and aplomb.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
These keep getting better. I love them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's Topline Hotline. Here we are. It's definitely Thursday. We definitely didn't just keep one recording session going for our Monday episode. That's not what we do. I'm here with AJ Bruno, CEO of Quota Path, Asid Zaman, CEO of Sales Talent Agency, our host, curator, and master of ceremonies. Asid, what question are we answering today?
Okay, so we have a confidential question from
very good.
from inside Pavilion Slack. And so our friend basically asked that how much experience does a SDR really need? We're hiring a founding SDR at a seed stage company. We already have a full sales cycle AE and can close qualified leads quite repeatably. We're mostly inbound now. Call outbound with our sequences is still a hit or miss. So there's figuring out to be done there. I interviewed a candidate with no prior experience. I gave him some resources to self-study, and he did pretty well on the interviews. I've interviewed other candidates with prior SDR experience, and they were worse. Any reason why I shouldn't make him an offer? I want him to succeed in the role and not set anyone up for failure. Sam.
I want to concur with this confidential question asker. I don't think you need SDR experience. Here's what and I think to the point, he said he interviewed other SDRs and they didn't do as well. Here's what I'm looking for in an entry-level position of any type. And I would argue that SDRs are entry-level, at least currently. I'm looking for work ethic. I'm looking for follow-up. I'm looking for personability, intellectual curiosity, and professionalism. And I wrote a post about this on LinkedIn because I've been in many, many interviews over the years. And if you're interviewing for any sales job, especially an entry-level sales job, first of all, how do you answer the phone if it's a phone screen? I've had so many calls where people say, hello? And I'm like, well, I don't know what's happening. I'm the friggin' CEO, son of a bitch. Like, what's going on? So, instead of, hey, this is Sam Jacobs, so answer the phone really nicely with high energy. How about your profile picture? Let's look at your profile picture. If it's you from, prom and you're cutting out your date and it's like blurry and it's a picture from 1988. No, we're not doing that. We've got Lensa now. We've got platforms that can make you really, really good profile pictures. How about your LinkedIn vanity URL? Is it AJ-Bruno-1324, a lowercase a, big K, uppercase A? No, it should be Anthony James Bruno.
The
third.
It is, which it is. It's AJ Bruno 3.
Exactly, because you're a badass. And then I'm looking for people that have questions. I'm looking for people that have done research on me in the conversation. And most importantly for me, thank you notes. Because sales is follow-up. And it is amazing to me the number of people that go through an interview process and they don't send thank you notes. They don't send personalized emails, or they'll write you a 2-line email and it'll say at the bottom, sent from my iPhone. And I'm like, so if you have an SDR with SDR experience that acts like a total dipshit and does all of those worst practices, don't hire them. Hire the person from retail. Hire the person that worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Hire the person that worked their way through college or high school. Hire the person that is hungry, that wants to work for you. Because we talked about on Monday, there's not a lot of jobs out there. You can have high standards for who works at your company. So no, I don't think SDR experience is important. You can teach them and coach them. The most important thing is, as I've heard one time, you can't put in what God left out. And what you need is ambition and motivation and hunger and persistence. And that's what you should screen for. And you can teach the rest.
Amen. Look at that. That was a perfect answer, Sam. 10 out of 10.
Oh, thank you.
Good work.
10 out of 10.
The only thing I will validate is the curiosity aspect of it. Someone that is really learning. And so that the ways to test for that, think about current events, think about what's going on, think about your own company. Have they done research on the competitive market? Do they understand what's going on in the market? in the industry as well. And those are questions that I would ask up front. I don't know if I've ever hired an SDR that's ever had SDR experience.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
Yeah, there's some now because there've been so many layoffs.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's people that have been SDRs. Sometimes people have been promoted to full cycle reps, and now they're interviewing for SDR roles.
My point being is that I would rather err on the things that Sam talked about in hunger, persistence, than find someone that's like just they know the SDR role and responsibilities.
Asad, what do you think? You're the person that hires more SDRs than anybody in the world.
I've been on an interview where the person picked up the phone. Hello. That's like he was dying when you said it. It was like an immediate, like, this is not going to
Have
go
you done
well.
a Zoom where
Not
they're,
gonna go
they're
well.
doing it? And I know that there's all these people that are like, you don't understand, what their living situation may, but they're still like, they're in a coffee shop,
Yeah.
doing like the Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or the camera isn't properly laid. Like,
There's
it still
there's a
happens.
quiet place somewhere in the world you can find. I don't care what
Well,
your
they
have
situation
Internet
is.
that keeps going in and out. Who would do that?
Get out of here. Oh, exactly. Or they're like a pilot.
with the big headset. Okay, so yeah, I think we actually place the most amount of SDRs in North America right now. So we have a point of view on this. The data says that on average, BDRs and SDRs get promoted to a full sales cycle role in 16 to 18 months, depending on the state of the market. And so the SDR role is the worst role in the go-to-market function. It's the hardest role. It's the most annoying role. And people want to do it because it's a rite of passage. It's where you learn your foundational skills. You have to do it, but then you want to get out of it as soon as possible. So traditionally, if a person was a year in or even 9 months in, and they were looking at other roles of this sort, one would assume that they don't see a path to promotion internally. Hence, they're not very good at what they do. So you might hire somebody who knows how to use outreach. They just don't know how to use outreach really well. And so you're thinking that we'll have a faster ramp with this person and we don't have the resources to train them and teach them. So let's hire them with a bit of experience. But what you get is a lower level of talent. And the ramp is actually not that different. I believe it was the Bridge Group that did this research where they looked at the ramp for SDRs with a little bit of experience versus no experience or no B2B experience. And they found that the difference was 1 month. So when you bake in the fact that their performance can be higher, if the person is taking their first SDR role, they're willing to stay in it a lot longer than somebody who's been an SDR for a year already and is joining you. So they're more impatient. So this person will stay longer. And the difference is 1 month of ramp. And so I think it's usually a no-brainer to go for somebody with experience. Now, the caveat there is that it has been a volatile market. There have been lots of layoffs. So there are people right now that, not for the reasons I mentioned, might be looking for another SDR role and were SDRs before. You have to qualify that. But usually, if you are trying to make a decision between talent and experience, always tilt towards more talent than experience. That's usually where the wins happen. And so those are some thoughts in addition to Sam's 10 out of 10 answer.
Well, I think your answer was better than mine. So I'm giving your answer 11 out of 10. I'm taking mine down to 8 out of 10.
What about mine?
Yours was 10 out of 10. Yours was perfect. So needy. Well, the last thing, this is just on my mind. I just think, we talked about this concept of voluntary attrition. I just think that people have to understand that I do think that the pendulum has swung back in a different direction. And I think that the entitlement that candidates have about what work owes them is out of context at this point and misplaced. And I think that employers are going to be raising their standards for what they expect from people. And I think that's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of people. And, you can post about it on LinkedIn and call people jerks and say everybody's mean. But the reality is that we're not in 2021 anymore. And that every job in the company, the point of efficiency is that everybody's rowing their oar and push and, contributing. So
one last thought on that. I've also realized that when your company is full of just A+ players, it's a lot more fun.
A lot more
run it,
fun.
work in it. And that matters, right? Like the vibe of your company matters. And so I think for many reasons, including that one, people are going to have this high bar. And people have been saying fuck Glassdoor to me a lot recently. And that used to be something that used to dictate some of their behavior around laying people off, putting people on pips and things of that nature. And now they're just like, fuck it. I don't care. It's a shitty platform with a flawed model. So we don't care.
Thank you for listening to Topline Hotline, everybody. On behalf of your hosts, AJ Bruno, Asad Zaman, I'm Sam Jacobs. If you need sales commission planning software, or really any kind of incentive compensation planning software, I really encourage you to take a look at QuotaPath. If you're hiring for any go-to-market roles, I encourage you to use Sales Talent Agency. And if you want to be amongst a global community of go-to-market executives and really have the confidence, the tools, the support, and the knowledge that you need to succeed in today's modern environment, I encourage you to take a look at Pavilion. And with that, we'll talk to you all next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Topline Hotline.